We begin our journey in the year 2000, but before we do, I would like to point out that in many respects, the essential elements of the CSR has been placed for many years before that. Comprehensive social investment programs and strict environmental policies were features of gemstones mining and jewelry manufacturing before the dawn of the 21st century. But it is fair to say that it was in 2000 that we began to consider the subject of CSR together as an industry. What triggered this collective response was what became known as the conflict diamond crisis in Africa. Already in 1999 it was becoming apparent that the rebel groups in Sierra Leone and Angola were seeking to gain control over alluvial diamond fields in those countries in order to finance their military uprising against the government in power. Reports began trickling out of these regions about atrocities being imposed upon civilian population living in the area of the diamond fields. It goes without saying that the jewelry industry in particular is particularly sensitive to any factor that may negatively impact upon its reputation. While fine jewelry involves objects of great beauty and value, it is by very natural and non-essential item. Thus, while jewelry certainly was not the first product to have been exploited in a civil uprising, it was most probably more vulnerable than other products that are considered essential. But while jewelry and precious gemstones may be non-essential in many parts of the world, the jewelry industry, and here I refer to mining, processing and manufacturing, is most definitely essential. In Botswana, for example, diamond mining accounts for more than 1/3 of GDP, 70 to 80% of export earnings, and about half of the government revenues. Gemstones mining contributes close 50% of Namibia foreign exchange earnings, and underdeveloped resources would provide a greatly needed economic growth opportunity in Angola and Zimbabwe. What I am stating is that a slump in jewelry sales brought on by the conflict diamond crisis did not only threaten the livelihood of an industry catering to the upward, but it also threatened by the economies and livelihood of millions of people living in developing economies. In July 2000, the World Diamond Council was established at the World Diamond Congress in Antwerp, with the express purpose in coordinating the jewelry industry campaign against conflict diamonds. Its president, Eliezer Koch, who has served in the position since 2000, in with us in Shanghai today, and will address this meeting. Establishing a coalition involving government, NGOs, and greater jewelry industry, the World Diamond Council played an absolutely critical part in the establishment of the Kimberley Process Certification Scheme in 2003. It involved the creation of an international regulatory system, legislated by and applied in all the member countries, which essentially would prevent diamond from non-authorized sources from entering the legitimate market. What our industry agreed, in fact, propose is that voluntarily, subject to strict regulations. There are few, if any, example of this ever having been done earlier in the history of businesses. The industry-wide perception of corporate social responsibility that developed as a result of the conflict diamond experience predominantly involved the creation of defensive systems like Kimberley Process, all of which were designed to ensure that jewelry and its components do not harm. Other defensive measures were implemented to regulate against money laundering and to ensure that proper health, safety, labor and environment standards are maintained. All of these remain essential elements of the way in which we go about the business. Around 2004, we began discussing within CIBJO an expanded vision of CSR by which the industry was seek not only to not impact negatively on society and the environment, but also to serve as a positive economic and social force, especially in the countries in which we are active. It was with this new understanding which inspired us to initiate contact with the United Nations, eventually leading to CIBJO becoming the jewelry industry's first and only members of the UN Economic and Social Council in 2006. Dr. Hanifa Menzoui, who then headed ECOSOC NGO division, played an absolutely essential role in this process, and she too will address the meeting today. Also in 2006, CIBJO joined the UN Global Compact. As a result of this strategy, the jewelry industry, through CIBJO, formally committed itself to the Millennium Development Goals. In 2007, we held our first ever Congress in the African continent, and during the event issued the Cape Town Declaration. It directly referred to the 8 Millennium Development Goals and Global Compact, and committed the international jewelry industry to promoting corporate social responsibility by finding solutions that will provide our stakeholders with productive employment, decent work, and sustainable development. In October 2007, we organized a day-long conference into the United Nations headquarters in Geneva, conducted in part by senior representative of UN Development Program. It was at this event that we led our initial action plan for development for a comprehensive CSR training program for the jewelry sector. The following year, the World Jewelry Confederation Education Foundation, or WJCEF, was established to manage the program. Its syllabus has been designed by IFOM, in which is an organization that brings together for some of the best CSR experts in the world, and many of them are here. François Loriot, who is here today with us, who headed the IFOM task force, will also address the meeting today. In June of this year, WJCEF conducted the first executive course of CSR for jewelry industry leaders. It took place in Antwerp and was hosted by HRD Antwerp, which is CIBJO's senior partner in Shanghai today, and also is one of the most important educational and training institutions in the international jewelry industry. This 10-year anniversary of our industry journey in corporate social responsibility does not represent the end of our mission, but rather another milestone.